Welcome back, fellow 7th graders. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying fractions. Some of you are probably wondering about right now why I have a picture of myself riding a horse in Ireland. Well, you've heard the old adage of, it's like riding a bicycle. Once you do it, you never forget it. Well, that's what I thought too when I rode a horse for the first time. Once you do it once, it's like riding a bicycle. You can do it without even thinking. That's what we're going to apply today with fractions. Once you do these once and figure them out, they're very, very easy to work with. So let's take a look at them. Multiplying fractions of mixed numbers. What are we doing? What do we need to know? Well, we need to be able to multiply the fractions and mixed numbers. You might be asking why. For example, next week when we start working with food and making the different items, when we'll be feeding the teachers, we need to be able to multiply fractions together and use them to know what we need for our ingredients. The other thing we need to do today is always simplify whenever possible. And last thing, everything that we work with today needs to be in fraction form, whether it be the proper way or the improper way. Either way, we always have to be working in fraction form. Let's take a look at one. If I give you 3/5 times 4/7, how do we do this process? Well, the process is fairly simple. You identify your numerators and you identify your denominators. Once you have those identified, all you do is multiply straight across. You take 3 times 4 and 5 times 7, and that gives you 12/35. It's as easy as that. That is my answer for taking 3/5 times 4/7. Again, multiply the numerator straight across, multiply the denominator straight across, you get your answer. The last thing you always need to check for is, can you simplify this? I know I can't simplify it because the only thing that goes into 35 is 1 and 35 and 5 and 7. So I know that we cannot simplify it any further. So my answer would be 12/35. If we look at this one, we have 5/8 times 2/3. Again, identify your numerators, identify your denominators, and then you multiply them straight across. 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 3 is 24. And you have to ask yourself, can I simplify that? A light should be going off in your head right now because they are both even numbers. That means I can simplify it by 2, making it an answer of 5/12. So my answer for 5/8 times 2/3 is 5/12. Now, there's another way to look at these problems. Notice we multiplied first in this case. We multiplied first, and then we simplified by 2 second. Well, we can do it the opposite way. We can simplify first and then multiply if we want to. So you have two options with these. Let's take a look at the same one to see if we get the same answer. What I mean by looking diagonally to see if you can simplify is if I look across and I look at 5/3. I cannot simplify those two. Nothing goes into 5 and 3 evenly that we can do to simplify that. But if I look the other way and see 2 and 8, I see that 2 and 8 has a common factor. It would be 2. So if I simplify this by 2 and simplify the 8 by 2 diagonally, this becomes 2 divided by 2 is 1. This becomes 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I simplified it diagonally. Now, I do the second step, which would be what our first step was in the other one, and that's multiply straight across. If I take 5 times 1, that gives me 5. If I take 4 times 3, that gives me 12. Bingo. That is exactly what I want. Look, my answers are the exact same. So, to reiterate, you can take the fractions and multiply the numerators together, multiply the denominators together, and simplify. Some of you may choose to do that. Others may choose to simplify first, and to do that again, you look diagonally to simplify first and then multiply. Either way works. It does not matter to me which way you pick. I will usually personally use this because when I simplify first, it makes smaller numbers to multiply and it makes my life a little bit easier. So pick which way you want. I'll keep showing both ways as we go throughout this little lesson. Let's take a look at another one. 7/8 times 2/5. Again, I'm going to show it to you both ways. If we multiply straight across, 7 times 2 is 14. 8 times 5 is 40. And look to see if you can simplify. And again, both even, so I can simplify by 2. That gives me an answer of 7. And 40 divided by 2 is 20. So my answer is 7/20. Okay? Let's look at it again. 7/8 times 2/5. If I look diagonally, can I simplify 7 and 5? No, I cannot. Nothing goes into them. If I look this way now, can I simplify anything that has 2 and 8? Yes, I sure can. That would be, again, simplifying by 2. And simplifying by 2 diagonally. 2 divided by 2 gives me that 1 again. 8 divided by 2 gives me that 4 again. Now I'm ready to begin multiplying. I take 7 times my new numerator of 1. That gives me an answer of 7. I take 4 times my other denominator, 5. 4 times 5 gives me 20. Look at there. The exact same thing. So again, either way works. It does not matter. All right? Let's look at another one. Mixed numbers. Okay, I was talking about we had to have things in fractions, whether they were proper or improper. Whenever you are given a mixed number, you have to change it to improper first. So, 5 times 2. Let's change this to an improper fraction. 5 times 2 is 10. Add the extra 2. That gives you 12/5 times 4, 2 times 4, which is 8, and then plus the other 1, which gives me 9/2. Okay, 9/2. Now, you can choose whichever way you want to do this. You can multiply straight across, or you can simplify diagonally first. It does not matter to me. In this case, I'm going to simplify diagonally first. If I look at that, I can see right now that 12 and 2, I can simplify this by 2. That gives me 1. I can simplify this by 2 again. That gives me 6. I cannot simplify this way diagonally, so now the only option I have left is to multiply straight across. 6 times 9 is 54, and 5 times the 1 is 5. There is my answer in multiplying 2 and 2/5 times 4 and 1/2. Now, I am not finished. This is an improper fraction. Need to change it to a mixed number real quick. 54 divided by 5. You should be getting good at this now. We've been doing this for a while. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Subtract that. That leaves me with 4. 5 goes into 4. How many times? It can't. So don't forget to put your 0 up there. A lot of kids will forget that. That is hugely important. Don't forget that. So now I have 0. I'm ready to write my mixed number. It is 10. My denominator never changes, of 5. My leftover piece, which is right here, is my numerator, 10 and 4/5. This is my answer, 10 and 4/5. And remember, you can always double check yourself if you so choose. 5 times 10 is 50, plus 4 gives me that 54/5. So I know my mixed number is correct. That is how you multiply mixed numbers. Lastly, I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to skip this one right now. I want to look at this one. 3/7 of 20. New word for you, new meaning. Whenever you hear the word of, this right here, that tells you you are multiplying. That goes into a multiplication sign. You cannot forget that. That is huge. Whenever you hear of, you think multiply. We'll be doing that later on this year. The next thing I want to talk about is here. I have a whole number 20. This does not have a denominator in it. Well, we can always put whole numbers over 1. So whenever you see that, you have to put that stuff over 1. So now my 3/7 of 20 looks like what we're used to seeing, 3/7 times 20 over 1. Now I'm ready to multiply. I cannot simplify anything diagonally, so all I can do is multiply straight across. And when I do that, 3 times 20 is 60. 7 times 1 is 7. Okay? 7 goes into 60 8 times, because 8 times 7 is 56. That leaves me with 4 left over, so it's 8 and 4/7. I did my converting of this improper fraction to a mixed number kind of in my head. Okay, if you need to get out and you need to work it by hand, work it by hand. Get it right every time. You take 60 and divide it by 7, and that'll end up getting you to that. Okay? So that's a look at how to multiply fractions. You multiply the numerators together, you multiply the denominators together, and simplify. Or you can take a look and see if you want to cross simplify first and then multiply. Either way works, whatever works best for you. And lastly, remember, you have to change all mixed numbers into improper fractions whenever possible, and you'll be good to go there. Thanks for listening. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, good luck, and we'll see you in the morning. Have a great day.